Hi, Ms. Newbern here. So this is an overview of the summative task, in particular, how to do the mapping piece. So you've all made a copy of this, and once again, if you're working by yourself, you just need to analyze 2 of the 3 locations, and if you're working with a partner or 2 other people, you have to analyze all 3 sites. So at this point, hopefully you've looked at the different sites, you've done some research using some of these tools here, and then you've decided you've made and you filled in this graphic organizer saying, so these are some threats: sea level rise, maybe landslides, maybe there's um, earthquakes, and then you're also going to say resources. There might be forests, there might be access to food or fisheries, and then you're going to rank your choices, saying this is our top choice, this is where we're recommending we move, this is our second choices, and this is our third choice, and then making some comments about why you decided that. So then what you need to do next is, so your claim will basically say, which settlement which location you are deciding on. And part of our evidence is we're going to include a map. So what map did you use? You're going to actually link the map in your evidence section somewhere. So you're going to basically put it, why don't you just put in for evidence 1, and then you're going to kind of unpack it for us. So I'm going to walk us through making a map, but we're going to pretend that there was another group in the East Bay. They had to do a similar thing, which was recreate a community, and this was the site that they chose. Now, the forest is the forest, so don't have to do anything with the forest. The current water level is the current water level. That's in blue. However, if you are a coastal area, if yours is in the coast, you're going to have to look at sea level rise and see where's that coastline in 2030, because it may not be the same. Now, this here is in the mountains. This is in the hills. But let's say, for example, this was a bay and not actually a reservoir. So what I would do is I'm looking at the water level and I'm looking at actual maps about sea level rise. Once again, if you go here to, you can look and see, sea level rise, Bay Area hazards, Marin map has some great ones. So you can go basically figure out where is the sea level rise predicted to be. And then you go to your map, and once again, this is not for this map, and I'm going to go up to the squiggle, and I'm going to, hold on, the squiggle, and I'm going to say now, according to the maps that I saw, the sea level has now encroached upon this area, and then I need to change it to that color. So I go up to the line color and I change it to that blue. So now this basically tells me this is underwater. You don't have to be super perfect about your lines, but just so giving me the basic idea of the changes in the topography. Okay, then you're going to be, that was fresh water. So the water level is that color. Okay, then I need to say, like, where is there fresh water that's available? Well, you might want to be basically saying, so on this map here, all the fresh water that's available is, it's all of this blue area. But are you really going to access this? Because once again, 1 inch equals 5 miles. So you could essentially, highlight all of that, but chances are maybe you put your building on first. And once again, the building is more of like, where are your houses in general going to be? So you need to go up to, so you have to decide where you're going to put your settlement. So I would not put my settlement here. This is a ridge. This is really mountainous. So that would be kind of hard to have a settlement. And also it's not really close to water. So I'm kind of looking for those things as some of my choices. So like down here, it's flatter. And the way that I know it's flatter is because the contour lines are further apart, which means that it's not as steep. So I would want to put my house somewhere in a flatter area because I'm going to want to be farming close to where I live. And then I also need close to water, and like, oh, here's some fresh water. So I'm going to first put in the fresh water. Going up to the scribble. Oopsie daisy. Nope. Scribble. I need to be not clicked on anything. Scribble. Huh. Might take you a while, just like, okay. So here I might be, basically this is my fresh water line here. And there's also up here, there's a little pond. So I'm going to basically make that my fresh water color. Okay, so you basically get that's also fresh water. And so maybe I want to put my house close to a larger body, or maybe I stay closer to a river, depending on like how wide this actually is. Once again, we're assuming that's blue. And so now I'm going to put my house on here. And so I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make my little house. And so this is kind of a reasonably flat area. So I'm going to put my little house, and then it's upside down, so you have to flip it. Flip. And then change the color to black. Okay. Once again, this is not to scale because that would be a massive house. Okay. So I've got my little house on there. And then I'm going to also put my farmland. And once again, I want to have my farmland close to my house. So I'm going to take my little scribble and I'm going to go and I'm going to put my farmland. Now, let's look at this. Look how big this is. Look at the scale. 1 inch equals 5 miles. This is massive. That is a crazy sized farm and not close to water. So not really a good idea. So maybe your thing is more, here, and it maybe even you might go across depending on how big this is. It might go across, it might be on both sides, so you have access where you can kind of drain stuff, or maybe it's all on one side. And then once again, changing the color to green. Then you have to think about, like, are there any fault lines? Oh my gosh, yes, there are. So I go up here under the hazard map. So the Bay Area hazard map is really great. So you can click that on. I already have it open, so I'm just going to go to that one. So, here, I'm up here, and look at this. This is really strong, violent shaking because there's actually a fault line right through here. So you're going to need to look at maps about where there are fault lines, and it's on one of these maps. So you look at it, and then you go to your thing, and you get out a line, and you're going to add in. You're going to add in where that fault line is. Once again, making it red, maybe a little thicker to see. So you know that this is where the Hayward Fault is. And then you're also going to look at the hazard maps, and you're going to kind of scroll down. Earthquake, so liquefaction is when the soil is really wet and kind of things kind of turn into almost quicksand. So if you're up in the mountains, probably not so much of a liquefaction zone, but if you're down here closer to the water, we're flatter land, so you can kind of look here and you can kind of see where there are liquefaction zones. And there's liquefaction hazard maps there, and then landslide zone. So I'm up in the mountainous area, so I might need to look and see if there's a landslide area, and then I would put that area in here in brown. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. And once again, you're going to either do a screenshot of this or link it in the evidence section in evidence 1. Okay, take care.